Hello there. I'm Nick Corston. I'm just a dad and co-founder of a social enterprise, a community enterprise called STEAMco. And I'd like to say thank you to you, Mr. Sunak, and to you, Mr. Dowden, and everybody there at HM Treasury, Department of Digital Culture, Media and Sport, and in fact everybody who supported us here at STEAMco in the last few years. But more than anything, I can't thank the community of where I am at this precise moment, here in Yorkshire, just on the outskirts of Leeds. At this precise moment, as you can see, at Yorkshire Sculpture Park, where we've live streamed a very, very special weekend with your thanks, with your support and with your emergency culture relief fund funding. And I can't thank you enough for that.
Ministers have just announced Christmas will be different this year for thousands of us. New measures
Can I call? Come on! I am! I'm coming!
Ready?
Yeah.
You see, I grew up a bloody screw up. I've always been a little rough around the edges. I run the streets all day where we would play, blowing chase and hopping over fences. Youths offended, bad decisions, good intentions, poor attendance, skip detention. Living life's the only way you ever learn your lesson. Authorities couldn't handle him. In hindsight, they didn't know what was happening when there was never any doubt. Was never chasing clout, I wasn't even chasing any status. And you know you all have to rate us, cause I'll always be a rock star, even if I never get famous. They said you ever get a job it will be dead end. They didn't know that I would grow to be a legend. I'm a rock star, ooh, I'm a rock star. They said you ever get a job it will be dead end. They didn't know that I would grow to be a legend. I'm a rock star, ooh, I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star, ooh, I'm a rock star.
I don't know if you've had time to watch the TV lately, but that was a TV advert created by Steve Murrells, CEO, and his team there at the Co-op, which could not have been a better film for us, for what we're doing in the community enterprise, which I co-founded in my son's primary school 5 years ago in Paddington. 10 years ago, in fact, actually, and 5 years ago, gave my career up to roll out across the UK to help connect our kids with their art and our communities with their school, because we believe that every child in this country has a right to the chance to get the best from life. And I know that you agree with that, to not just aim high in life, but to aim higher than high as the sky, to build castles in the sky. I don't know if you know the Bill Withers track, Just the Two of Us, but there's a lovely phrase in that, building castles in the sky. But if you look it up, it's a definition. The definition of that word in that phrase is to not have ideas beyond your station, to not build castles in the sky. But every child, every community, every parent wants the best from themselves. And that's what this is really all about. We've been delighted to be with the community here of Parklands Primary on the Seacroft Estate in Leeds for the hashtag Aim High 20 Festival and UK tour, where we've had 3 days of activities. We had a live stream of 8 back-to-back assemblies that the school community leader, an amazing man called Chris Dyson, led. It was just breathtaking to see him do 8 assemblies for all those bubbles. Myself and my colleague and artist Malumba came up from London last week after Tier 3 was announced for this area. We had COVID tests privately to make sure we weren't bringing any risks into the community. We were risk assessed by a health and safety expert. And we have been live streaming from a caravan, from a camper van, which we rented. I don't know if you can sort of pull the camera out. We can sort of reveal the scam that we've got going on here. I don't know if you'd like a bit of technology, but I'm literally in a camper van here, and if I turn the green screen off, you'll see that we've actually got a green screen in a camper van. If you want to pull that back, Malumba, you get the shot up there. I've got a camera here. I can show you all the nonsense we've got going on down here as well. So this is technology in action, a video audio mixer, a video mixer. We've got laptops there, some laptops we got off eBay. We've had people Skyping in. Give us a wave, Malumba. There you are in the background there. Malumba's one of our artists, and he's been there. I can't pretend it hasn't been a lot of fun, but at the same time, I mustn't pretend that we're trivialising the severity of the COVID situation and what everybody's actually going through at the moment. You know, this is brutal. But every year, Chris Dyson at that school, Parklands Primary, has a special event, the hashtag Christmas Eve party for that community, where he invites the whole of the Seacroft estate into that school for a Christmas dinner, for a hot meal, for presents, for real reindeers and for Santa. And this year, that just wasn't going to be possible. So he asked us to come up, and as I say, we live streamed 8 back-to-back assemblies on Friday. On Friday night, we had some talks and performances with DJs from across the country through an organisation called SPP Music in Cardiff. On Saturday, we ran a cardboard modelling workshop, and I'd like to show you what the outcome of that was. It was something that ended up in the school playground here. You can just see there. If we can get a better shot of that, please, Malumba. No, that's good. That's good. We've got that. That's fine. This is a cardboard model that a cardboard artist engineer called Will Alexander built for us and showed us how to make. Because we believe that the 3 greatest gifts you can give a child are your time, some stories, and their art. Not necessarily fancy technology and presents and all the latest apps, but here is something that any parent could make for their children with cardboard. And we made this rocket in the same way that back in the summer, we made a cardboard pyramid stage on which a young lad from Leeds got to perform and do his bit.
And we're going to finish breakfast today by going back to Lenny in Leeds.
Hi, I'm Lenny. Today's Choose What a Wonderful World. Here we go.
So how did the opportunity come about then?
One of the head teachers in Leeds hooked us up really, us and the Steamco guys, and said, oh, this is a great little boy, you know, can you sort of help him with his creativity? But it's just an amazing experience, isn't it, Glastonbury? It's like the ultimate celebration of creativity, I guess. It's, you know, everyone coming together in every little walk of life and just sharing in music and art and culture.
Thank you.
Lenny, thank you so much. Thank you.
Well done, Lenny.
Absolutely perfect. And he doesn't even need to look at his hands when he's playing. Lenny, you're brilliant.
He is amazing.
That's all from us today. We are back.
So for me, that's a perfect example of how art connects us all, because the head teacher, Chris Dyson, put us on to that mother, Sally, and her young lad, Lenny there, who can't hold a knife and fork. He can't hold a pencil or a paintbrush, but he can play the piano every day, and he does play the piano every day because he's got cerebral palsy, which affects him, as you can see, quite severely there. He was due to perform this weekend, but like many people, was too ill, or it just wasn't possible. But it doesn't matter, because we had that performance from the time that we built a cardboard pyramid stage in a school playing fields down there in Somerset, the weekend that the Glastonbury Festival should have been on. All thanks to you at the Arts Council England, who funded that, the National Lottery funded that gave us emergency grant at the start of the summer, and a charitable education trust called LGFL, who I know that the Department of Education have been working with very closely to provide technology to young people who risk falling behind because of the lack of technology in their learning that schools really do have to struggle with. And I know Mr. Dyson's really struggled to get hold of laptops for those children over the last few months. So it's all been made possible. Our cardboard stage here was built from cardboard and code and creativity. And on Sunday night at 10 o'clock, we pressed the launch button, we lit the fuse, and we launched this rocket into space. And I'd like to share that moment with you again now, if you'll indulge me for just a moment.
9, ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
A very exciting moment across Yorkshire, the first rocket launch from Yorkshire in living memory. To inspire our children, to inspire their parents, to inspire all creative carers, because for us, creative carers are people who don't just care about themselves, but they care about creativity. They care about children, and they care about all our futures. And this was a moment that we all shared, thinking how high can our children aim, what can they aspire to achieve, inspired by a book called The Rocket Boys by Homer Hickam, story of 4 boys in the 50s who didn't want to be coal miners in a dead-end coal mining town, but who looked to the sky and saw the Sputnik and learnt to make rockets and ended up working for NASA. And Homer Hickam's given permission to use his story and to take it into schools across the country. And that's what we're doing. And in 2022, with the National Festival of Creativity, we want to take what we're learning here and roll it out across the country as part of the UK Festival of Creativity, which I know DCMS are working very closely with the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games Committee, Martin Green and his team. We would do anything to put 22 of these camper vans on the road that year. With what we're learning this year, next year we're going to put 3 on the road to try and prove concept and prove that this can scale. But with your support, we can take art, we can take creativity. Whoops, that's a bit of a dodgy one. Let's be careful with this rocket here. And we can take art and creativity to every community across the country. And that's really what we've been trying to show this weekend, the power of art. Because art is what we call it when what we do might connect us to somebody else. Art can be is the combination of creativity and tools and people. Those tools could be technology, which is a fantastic attribute of the British economy, the creative industries. Technology is only a tool that was invented after you were born. I think I better get out of this predicament here, a little bit risky there. So really just to wrap up very, very quickly, we have had a fantastic weekend. Thanks to you at HM Treasury and DCMS with the Emergency Cultural Relief Fund. We had a very small grant from that of the 500 million you made available. But all I would say to you is please, please, please don't forget the creative industries, the artists, the performers, the front of house people, the behind house people, the people who work in festivals, because they desperately, desperately need your help. I think we've seen in lockdown the power of art, the power of that human connection that is fostered by creativity, which was celebrated, which was showcased and which was taken to the world by many, many people, not least an amazing man called Sir Ken Robinson, whose #1 TED Talk on how schools can, if we're not careful, teach creativity out of children, has had 300 million views. A man who tragically passed away this summer, a man who went to college at Bretton Hall, which is just down the road here on this estate at Yorkshire Sculpture Park. And we want to be part of that legacy, not by talking, but by walking that talk. We're publishing a podcast series called #TalkWalkers20, which is a series of 20 podcasts with people who knew and were inspired by Sir Ken Robinson. We've already got our first 5 or 6 up. And we want to next year get on the road with 3 trucks, as I say. So we've just launched our #CreativeCarers Patreon. And if you or anybody you know can spend £1 a month or 5 or whatever month, you will help towards that funding for next year and hopefully help us build a fund, which maybe we can match fund with money from the Arts Council, the Lottery or Department of Digital Culture, Media and Sport, or even yourself at the Treasury. So I'm going to leave now with a song that we've come across through a chap called Boff Wally, who was from Chumbawamba back in the 90s, who had a band called I Get Knocked Down, But I Get Up Again. A message of resilience, a message of determination. I'm sure you danced to it in your student days. He's now a leader of a choir called the Commoners Choir, which is an inclusive yet open choir, a group of people who sing regularly here in Leeds, in Yorkshire. Songs to warm hearts, songs to connect communities, songs to raise important issues into public consciousness. And this song I'm going to play now is, the one I'm going to go out with, is Come In From the Cold. A song that was written for and inspired by that man, that school community leader, Chris Dyson there at Parklands Primary, who every Christmas feeds that community, and this year literally isn't going to be able to in the way he might, but he's fed them with his inspiration, he's fed them with his creativity, and he's fed them with his love. So we'd like you to sing along now. If you can grab a mobile phone and sing along to the words, and don't worry, you can play it back later and do it properly. We'd like you to email your video to us at yourturn@steamco.org.uk, and we will edit them together, because we want to co-create a Christmas #1. We want to co-create #OurXmas#1 and take the power of the people, take the power of creativity, take the power of art to the top of the charts. Thank you very much for listening.
On a cold winter's morning, all smothered in snow, come on in from the cold. There's a freeze on the city, the schools are all closed. Come on in from the cold. And the kids left at home are all hungry and bored. Come on in from the cold. And the best they can find is leftovers and coke. Come on in from the cold. So switch off the TV and text all your mates. Head for the one school that's opened its gates. They're planning a lesson that's served up on plates. from the cold. So take off your raincoat and pull up a chair. Shake off your hunger, there's food going spare. Whatever we've got is whatever we'll share. Come on in from the cold. Come on in from the cold. Children gather for dinner and shake off the streets. Come on in from the cold. All their friends round the table together they eat. Come on in from the cold. So take off your raincoat and pull up a chair. Shake off your hunger, there's food going spare. Whatever we've got is whatever we'll share. Come on in from the cold. Come on in from the cold. Come on in from the cold.
As I say, if you'd like to be part of our Christmas rendition of that and a mass singing along, let's not try it on Zoom because it just can't hack it. Send a video in of you singing that along. It's on our website. You can replay this stream now. Send a video in and we'll include it in our Christmas mix. And let's see if we can't get that to the top of the charts. Let's put that up on there. Let's get a little tag up there. Aim High 20, our Xmas #1. Be part of it with your art. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've had a fantastic weekend. Friday at Parklands Primary. Saturday working with the community on the Seacroft estate. We had some wood from Travis Perkins. Grandad Glenn's building an art trail and some pedestals and some hoardings that we can do some graffiti art on in the school grounds. And today, here at Yorkshire Sculpture Park, UK's biggest art gallery, such an inspiration in the grounds where Sir Ken Robinson studied as a young man. We thank you very much, Chancellor and Minister of Culture, for your support, for your funding. And everybody else, regardless of political party, we don't do party politics, we do policy. And anybody who stands in the way of creativity, children, community, we'll call them out. But the most important thing here is that we all look on that 80% that we all have in common, if we're family or community-minded people, as we all have to be. And I think as lockdown has reminded us, is what makes us human and makes life worth living. I'd like to thank you, and I'm going to pass out now with hand over now and finish now with another TV ad that we shamelessly ripped off, I'm afraid. This ad was made by Amazon, a company who owe quite a lot to the UK economy as far as I'm concerned and might not have a problem hopefully with us using their film. We've put some subtitles on and a chance for you to hear and see the inspiring man who's made all this possible for us, Chris Dyson. We thank you, we salute you. And good night. We'll see you back on the road. We're on a 12-day Creative Christmas UK tour now. Thank you very much.
Good evening. All schools across the country will close until further notice as coronavirus reached a hundred.
Where is Chris Dyson? Can we have Chris Dyson on this stage, please?
As I said, we're in the toughest area in Leeds, and yet our school children, the children that actually sit on the interview panel for the Northern Ballet, because I want to give them an opportunity that they've never sort of had before. And it shows if you believe in the people, you believe in these teachers, you believe in these kids, absolutely anything is possible.